just one person's intent. Leadership is a process, it's situational, and also it changes with the things, and it's also very participatory. You have to be involved. If you're going to be a leader, you got to be part of the process. You got to understand what situation is, and that's what I hope my art does in places like this. And that's also why I ask you to write on it, to make it yourself, make it your own, to leave a piece of you there with it, because it's really not my art. If you notice, none of my paintings have my name to the bottom of it. And that's because I really, it's like education. Like your teachers don't say, here's your lesson, wait, let me sign it because I gave it to you, you know. We're just passing on knowledge, and that's what art is doing. It's just passing on knowledge and also receiving it, you know. So when we leave at places like this, you know, we come out high as guys. Man, I was there in the California guys, the little kids, the guys, Monica for Chicago, this guy's up from Portage Park, and like, it goes crazy. So at the next stop in Sterling, we're gonna be just tearing it up over there. So thanks a lot for that energy in advance. I understand that your director is someplace around here too, right? What's his name?
Who was that? Don.
Don.
Yeah, he should be around here.
Well, if he's around and if he's not,
okay,
let him know that I really appreciate, you know, also taking this opportunity. Some of the paintings that are outside are like, for example, there's a sun and the moon. And that is basically a testament that no one should ever tell you that you shouldn't be revolutionary, that you're too radical, that you need to calm it down. If you look at nature, and that's what art is looking at nature. Art is a revolution, continuous revolution, a never-ending revolution that began long before we got here, will continue long after we're here. So we are revolutionary, and we're expected to be revolutionary. It's in our genes to come up with a new way, a better way of sharing the resources that this planet has. So that's that painting of the sun and the moon. If you move it, it can become the moon. The other one here is sky, and if you move it, it becomes a kiss, a heart with two people there. And that's also a testament because all my life people are saying, you know what, chill out, cálmate, man, ¿por qué estás tan enojado? You know, just, why are you always so angry? You know, it's like, oh, what did people do to you? And it's really not about anger, it's about passion. You know, and that's what really, why people are on it, and why some of the staff will lose it on you, and why you lose it on your best friends. You know, when you go home, you'll find yourself angry at what you've left behind, because you've evolved and they haven't, and it's that passion that you love them and you want to bring them up with you, but you sometimes get mad. But understand that that's love, and treat it like love, don't treat it like hostility. So that's called a kiss. You know, it's called passion. Across from it is Uncle Sam, and Uncle Sam is the representation of the empire that we live in, that we're part of. And as far as empires go, historically, any history majors here? There you go, history majors. As far as empires go, these two will agree that it's a relatively young empire, and it's not that old. In fact, there's parts of the empire that were here 400 years before the empire, you know, as a colony, as part of another empire. But so I painted it young. I painted them crossing borders, you know. I painted them shooting up, high on power, but it's also made of 100 feet of rope. You know, it's regular. You can go to the store, what you buy for your mom para la ropa en el aire libre. It's 100 feet of rope, and it's done into Uncle Sam. And the reason that it's 100 foot of rope, I think that if we do one good collective yank on this Uncle Sam, we can reinvent the empire. We don't have to accept it for what it is. We can pull it into something new, creative, more powerful. Then you get to the mannequins. These mannequins, and people say, okay, Victor really tripped out now. You know, he's really lost it. But really, it's very simple what I'm doing with this. I'm taking the tools of the empire. I'm taking the tools of mass production, the tools of mass consumption, and I'm stripping them of their objective of telling you, wear this and be cool like me. You know, put this on be cool like me, consume and be cool like me. So I removed the product. And so now what I'm hoping is that they do nothing but provoke thought. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm also taking imagery, that's regular wallpaper that in the 1970s, that was high-end wallpaper. You might remember that.
I'm not that old.
I remember it. I remember it, and I could even remember the smell of it. It was like, takes you back. So when this guy came and said, I got thousands of rolls of canvas, and he opens his trunk, and I go, dude, this is not canvas. This is wallpaper. Like $100 for all of it. Okay, I'll take it. And so I've been painting on that stuff. I haven't really maximized it, but I'm also taking imagery of things that are here every day. I'm basically sampling. They're visual samples. That Pocho is very similar to posters from the 1970s of the Chicano movement. At the very top, I'm sampling Che Guevara, right, with just the eyes and the thing. And then I'm putting, do you guys recognize the handkerchief? The vendetta? So I call that Chicananimous. And then I'm pretty provoking and putting free on his poncho. Saying, looking for freedom. At the bottom, the squigglies of the poncho said libertad, but I thought that was overdoing it. That's being too politically correct. We should be bilingual. So free it is, just in one language. I could have started out with libertad in Spanish, and I would have still left it with one word. But again, I'm sampling imagery. I'm appropriating imagery. I'm appropriating Uncle Sam. And that was really, I call this the old hat trick. And, people are like really surprised that the government's spying on us and collecting data on us and doing all of this. Really, the Jewel is collecting data on you. Dominic is collecting data on you. The Gap is collecting data on you. Starbucks is collecting data on you. And that is the real government. Those corporations are the ones that own our government. So they've had our information. We give it every time we sign our email. Who does the government ask for this information? They ask the telephone companies, and we all have telephone companies. We all have telephones, we have smartphones, we have dumb phones, we have all sorts of things. So we're giving it up. So I'm like saying this is an old hat trick, that I think now they had to admit it and say, okay, so I am listening. But not to everybody, just you. Just him. Just Josiah for definitely got a fat file on him. Probably the whole center, because this center also has this history of activism and a hotbed of radicalism. And I hope that you guys continue that legacy of really making people nervous. Say, what are you talking about? Notice there's no white people when they go there. Dangerous. But anyway, I'd like for you guys to feel free, definitely, to go and mark up those mannequins, make them your own, appropriate it. And one of the criticisms that my peers have of me is that guy is like sampling too much. He's taking from here for that. Even the new stuff that he's doing, he's like appropriating stuff. Definitely, I am appropriating. In fact, I'm taking a page from the Dadaists who were here 100 years ago. They were young people like you. They got sent to a war, and in that war, they saw the future. They saw that the world was never going to go back to the way it was, and neither were they. So they came back, and they would take mannequins, and they would put them at the beach, take a photograph of them, and call it "Fashion is Dead." And they would piss people off. What the hell do they mean? And then in their art shows, they would have music, and they would like have songs like that would go like da 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 da. Join me, come on. Come on. Craziness, absolute craziness. But what they were actually giving us was, they were trying to wake us up and say the world is crazy. Your fashion is crazy. What you're eating is crazy. What you're studying is crazy. Everything is crazy. The world is not what you think it is. Get out of that paradigm. That we have to stop this military monster that's growing. And actually, that's the same thing that's happening right now. We got to wake up, understand that the corporations have stolen everything, every resource on Earth, and now they're trying to steal every free thinking thought and process and tools that we have, and take it away from us, make it a crime, make it easy to just pick out the set and throw it, because the world is moving in a direction where the rich people, the minority, are controlling the resources of the entire planet. And you're not part of it. You're not part of it. You know, our education, they want to indebt us so that we come out with $100,000 in debt. Well, when you have that kind of monkey on your back of owing $80,000 or $100,000, you're not going to worry about your brother and sister. You're not going to be reaching back. You're going to be saying, I got to get mine, you got to get yours. That's just the way it goes. And traditionally, education was the place where we got educated, we brought everybody on board. Everyone. All of them. It was kind of like going to a Tia's party. You got educated, órale todos, you know. You know, you bring one in, that's just the first one. You know, it's like, are you the first one to go to college? Are you? Yeah. There's gonna be a bunch after you. You know? That's the way it used to work. But now it's not working like that. Now they're trying to buy us and indebt us so that we come out simply predatory capitalists, just wanting our money. And some of us may already be there because you're the first generation that grew up with a soundtrack that said, be a thug, be a predatory capitalist. You know, don't worry about anybody else. Violence is okay, not caring about others, it's okay. In fact, some of the biggest pop stars are still saying that nonsense. You know, but you're the very first generation that actually had a cultural context of that. The rest of us, we had a cultural context of freedom, of power, of empowerment. You know, we had songs, we had movies, we had all of this stuff. Now you don't. They very carefully, your generation's been targeted to be desensitized and to not care for others. And anybody here still care for someone? So don't let it stop you. You have to continue that. You have to resist all of that. Because even us who work in education sometimes forget that message. You know, and we get overzealous like, well, you know what? What's important here is just beauty. Well, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. And take the time, you know, to still be a family member, to still be a brother, to still be a best friend. Yeah, and study, get your grades, move it. I'm still in school. Northeastern, Alpha Chi, top 10%, straight A's. You don't believe me? He's like, no, it's true. You should go, if you're gonna go and get a grade, get the highest grade. Don't mess around. Don't mess around. Don't get the highest grade. Go for it. Demonstrate it. Know it inside, know it outside. Recite it, live it, explain it. Challenge your friends with the knowledge that you got. Because if you're going to school and somebody's paying for your education, you should apply it the minute you walk out of that place. Because if I go to Best Buy and I give them $500, I better be able to plug that thing and get it to work right away. And that's the same kind of attitude that you gotta have with your class, with your art, with your music. And by the way, if you don't have art, you don't have a world-class education. If you look at people that have a world-class education, they have music, they have recitals, they have dance, they have theater, they have opera, they have all of this other stuff. If you don't have that, well, get some mariachi, get some norteño, get some cumbia, get some reggaeton, but yet get your daily dose of culture, because culture makes us smart. Art and music and singing and dancing, that's the original leadership model. All civilizations, the black, the Indians, the whites, everybody. There isn't a civilization that didn't begin with an artist picking up either a rock or a stone and saying, drawing a picture, and it wasn't about decorating, interior decorating. Said, I'm going to put a buffalo here because it goes good with the border. It wasn't like that. Believe me, it wasn't like that. She picked up that and said, this is our identity. This is who we are. This is who, as a group, we are, and gave them a collective vision of who we are. Everybody. And then they would hand it to the musicians, the drummers, the chanters, and they would party all night for days on end. On that vision, celebrating the collective identity, celebrating community. And from there, that's where we got science. From there, that's where we got arts and sciences. If you're gonna get a 4-year degree, it's called a Bachelor of the Arts. If you go on further, you're gonna get a Master's of the Arts. If you proceed as an artist, I get an MFA. You know what an MFA stands for? Okay, I thought it was something else. Either way, it's good. It's still art to me, right, in it. So get your daily dose of art. That is what's going to trigger your leadership. And you need that. You can't just have, well, I'm just going to study. Dance. Sing. Do something creative. Be a complete human being. This is the intelligence that separates us from all of the other living things on earth. Our ability to create, our ability to celebrate collectively, and to develop a collective vision. That's what got us fire, that's what got us agriculture, that's what got us every single important revolution stemmed from a cultural context. So create the culture. I'm very happy that the center's here because you can create your culture. You're inventing. Where's the director of the place?
He's the advisor.
You're the advisor. Did they all know you? I don't know you. Victor?
I'm not.
So Don, I mean, this is a person that you can go to and say, let's create this type of culture. And it should be academic still. It shouldn't be a party culture. You know, when those guys were dancing all night long, it wasn't just because they were raving. You know, they had a political identity and mission that they were trying to do, and that's what you guys got to do too. The parties that you celebrate, that you organize, should be an intellectual vibe to it. It should be special. It should be fresh. It should be new. And all of the things that are also thrown at us and packaged as culture, like sexism, homophobia, all of that crap, you need to get rid of that too. You know, so don't have an all guys party. Don't invite me. Don't have an all girls party. Invite me anyway. But have a revolutionary party. That's what I'm saying. Have a revolutionary party. You know, have the intellectual stuff, the identity thing, talk some shop, move some projects along, leave some history, leave a legacy. You know, and then come back. You know, and let the revolution begin. So I'm going to introduce two of my collaborators over the years. They're brothers, Camilo Quintana. You can applaud for her. And then we got Andres Quintana Jr., who is his older brother, and he's a member of, they both were members of Speed Space Jews. And they're tonight they'll be sitting there with another band called La Mata with me. So, but he's gonna like bring this vibe in while we wait for the Cheetos to get it here, right? We ordered some hot Cheetos. But anyway, let's give a big round of applause. You jump in?
Yeah, I was listening to Victor, and these couple songs I've been actually goes along with what he's talking about.